Hey, it's the Fort Worth Playboy.
And my Playboys Bunny.
And welcome to our podcast where we discuss pickup, game, relationships, and
Sex.
And today we're going to talk about the panic proposal, which is it is pivotal in a lot of people's lives. They just don't realize it that they're going to go through it, or they're going through it, or that they went through it.
Yeah.
And the best example is we have a client, and we're like, how did you and your husband meet? And she told us, and, how did he propose? And so she says they had been going out for like 3 or 4 years, and he had not even mentioned getting married. And so, she's in her mid-20s.
Getting frustrated. And she's crazy about it. Make no mistake.
Yeah. And so she breaks up with him because she's like, well, we're never going to get married. So I need to get out there and find somebody that will get married.
Yeah.
And so he's freaking out. Because this is a girl that he got along with just fine. And now she just broke up with him. So he comes back and he's like, well, do we need to get married? I'll get married if that's what you want. And she's like, yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah, duh.
And she's like, did that not ever cross? And I can guarantee you, because I never even thought about it till I was in my mid-30s. He said, I had never even thought about getting married.
Yeah.
They had never discussed it. Didn't even cross his mind. And here's the deal. Girls are thinking long-term because, as Bunny will explain, their clock is ticking.
Oh, yeah.
And they have a plan. You just don't know that you're part of it. But for guys, we're just happy to be getting laid regularly.
Right.
And our plans don't really go beyond today quite often.
Not in this realm, probably.
Guys will be like, yeah, one day I want to have like a muscle car. Or, I want to be jacked. And they'll work towards that, but they never think, I would like to have a fulfilling relationship with this girl that's my wife, and children, and a home, and all this, responsibility. That's not how, and so you have these two not necessarily competing, but
opposing.
they don't even know about each other sometimes.
So do men kind of go, is it more like a knowing that I guess someday I'll have a family and,
I wouldn't even say that.
Fascinating.
Okay, but so
fascinating.
The panic proposal is caused when a girl breaks up with a guy because she wants to get married, but he's not aware, or he had been dragging his feet purposefully, and not moving in that right direction, and that's the panic proposal, and it is the, what would you say, impetus for a lot of marriages.
Yes.
I would bet just a smaller percentage are like, they go, well, we're going to get married in 2 years, and then he does a proposal on one knee.
Yeah.
I would bet the panic proposal is a majority.
I agree.
Out of everything, all birth comes from trauma. Every birth is traumatic. That's pretty funny. You know what I mean? It's just like, we're like starting another business, and it's a fucking mess and exhausting and shit everywhere. And it's the same thing if you've ever been in the labor and delivery room. It's a fucking violent mess and shit everywhere. And probably the same thing with a marriage,
That's hilarious.
They're very rarely gently entered into.
It's
funny, usually a fucking
where he's
mess.
Like, I'm going to sit down with her mother,
exactly,
and ask her permission, and then I'm going to,
more like it's a violent, he's throwing a bottle across the yard.
Well, and
screaming.
she's going off the rails because her, like we said, as soon as you start fucking or dating, if you're not in a relationship where there's sex before marriage or whatnot, but that stopwatch starts, that timer starts as soon as you start being intimate, being serious. So
exactly.
She starts getting a little crazy if you're not even talking about getting engaged, or you haven't, you've had two dating anniversary dinners and you haven't popped the question yet. And things like that will set a girl off.
Okay, so, and we're talking about mostly girls between 20 and 35.
Yeah.
We're talking.
Yeah.
We're talking first marriages, no kid. Well, they might have kids, but so the hormonal talk about where because these guys think she's just being a bitch.
Yeah.
And it's not actually. It's like she has a clock.
Right.
So kind of explain that whole thing.
And I think one of the major misconceptions in all of that, number one, I feel like guys vastly underestimate just how insane hormones make girls behave. They blame a lot of things on the time of the month or whatever, and they tend to use it as an excuse for like laziness. But attitude-wise, it's huge. It's just huge. That's why, like when we've talked about, find a girl who has pretty stable moods. It just makes everyone's life a little bit better. But truly, no matter what she's saying, you have to know, men, gentlemen, guys, you have to know that 99.9% of the girls out there don't want to be single their whole fucking life. I don't care if she's saying, well, I'm not really looking to get married right now either.
Let's role play, and then you explain exactly. Let's say I'm just a guy and we're dating.
Okay.
We've been dating like a couple months or 6 months or a year.
Yeah.
And I just, I'm not even thinking about marrying her, but I just want to know her idea of, because you're like hanging out with your parents or something.
Yeah.
So would you ever get married?
Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe someday.
So what does that actually mean in girl world?
It means if we're not engaged in the next 6 months, it's okay. Truly. I mean, because she doesn't really mean I don't want to get married or I haven't really thought about it.
Uh-huh.
None of these things. Girls have Pinterest boards from 8th grade on, planning their marriage, planning their wedding, I should say.
Yeah.
Girls, first of all, we all know that girls function better when they are in relationship with a man who helps control
their emotions.
It just they are more sane in that way. But also they want that. They want marriage. They want the wedding. They want the kids. They want the family. They want a lot of these things that theoretically don't start until you pop the question.
Exactly. And that's one thing I have to kind of like convey to these guys. I always see sometimes on Twitter where guys go, well, she just wants a wedding. She doesn't really want to be married. Well, what girls want is children.
Yeah.
90% of women will have a live birth by the age of 40. Women are driven to have children.
Right.
But they don't want to have those kids out of wedlock.
Right.
So you have to propose to get the whole childbirth thing rolling.
Right.
That's
and
it's usually
fair.
a 2 to 5 year, stretch.
Yeah.
So she's thinking way long term.
Yeah.
You're like, man, I sure hope I'm around next week.
Yeah. And I get where men come from also. A wedding's expensive. It seems like a lot of effort for nothing.
It very much seems like something for others.
Yeah.
Marriage world is the other world for single men.
But it's like birthdays, it's like Valentine's Day, it's like anniversaries. It's special to her, but the main impetus behind you actually putting some thought into a gift once you're kind of in that gift giving stage is that other people ask what you gave and it truly reflects on her what she says. The wedding is like the biggest version of that there is. Even a house can be kind of downplayed because we're working on it, we're remodeling. I haven't, I hope to buy new furniture, that kind of stuff. That's
process.
It can be processed out. But the wedding is like
an event.
It's the World Series of a girl's life. Period. So, and the pictures from this wedding will be looked at for generations. It's a big deal. I know it's a lot of money, and it can be done without spending it, but like that's why it's a big deal in girl world. That's the reason.
And you are definitely there as a rival. I mean, you're an integral part of it.
Yeah.
But it's her day. I mean, at the end of the day. But again, and make no mistake, there's girls that will. I mean, but the vast majority are going to want some type of ceremony.
Right. Right.
And it's not
some kind of celebration.
Exactly.
They want their family and friends, to be involved.
Because again, the proposal means they're moving up in the world. Because in the status world of girl world, married women rank above single women.
Oh yeah.
And divorced women.
So
they're, stay-at-home moms are at the top, and then moms that work, are second, but first they got to be married.
Yeah.
And then it's, because you'll hear a lot of like, well, my husband said.
Oh,
my husband
yeah.
said, and as soon as you get engaged, it's my fiance this.
Exactly.
Because they want people to know that they've ranked.
Yes.
And dudes, it's no different than buying a McLaren when you got some money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of like what we do. You know, I mean, it's a subconscious thing. But the fact is, and what the real purpose of this video is that the panic proposal happens when you're not super aware that every girl, pretty much, if you're dating exclusively, is thinking about marriage in her 20s or early 30s, even if she never mentions it.
Right. Or even if she denies it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah, she doesn't want you to run off.
Yeah.
And
she's just trying not to scare you.
Exactly. But that's how you end up getting dumped.
Yeah.
If you're not aware. And we kind of recommend this for guys in their 20s, and we've all been as big of players as there are on this earth. But if you have no intention of like wifing up a girl, don't waste 2 years of her prime time.
Right.
I know if you're evaluating, that's different.
Right.
But don't just burn through her time, especially if you're thinking about, well, I always wanted to be a mercenary in North Africa, and you're about to leave.
Right.
And she has no concept of it. Or
sure.
You're going to start working on the offshore rigs as a single guy.
Uh-huh.
You kind of have to be honest and upfront instead of just using them for the ride along.
Truly, because that makes women
crazy.
It makes women bitter. Truly, you're wasting her life. You may enjoy her company, but you need to think the long game enough to say, this girl, I don't ever plan on marrying her. I don't think she'd make a good mother, or
exactly.
I don't want to have children with her. If we accidentally got pregnant right now, I would be furious. This is the real stuff that men talk to me about, and I'm like, you've got to let this girl go. Right. You can find another playmate.
Yeah.
But if you're just wasting her time, that's incredibly selfish.
But the bottom line is how to avoid the panic proposal. Be aware, anytime within 20 to 35 years of age, she has a clock that's ticking, and she has a magical timeline in her head that she has every intention of sticking to.
Yes.
And you're part of the picture.
Yeah.
But if you're not playing your role and you outplay your hand, you will be dumped. And that's okay. I mean, you might just have to roll with that.
Yeah.
But, you should not be surprised. It's probably best to kind of like go, hey, what do you want out of this?
Right.
And
not immediately.
Yeah. But be very, very, I would say, specific about what you're asking.
Right.
What are your plans? What do you want? Do you want to get married? Do you want children? What is your timeline on this?
Right.
And they'll probably still hedge their bets.
Yes.
They don't
They'll still be very cautious.
Because they don't have anybody to swing to yet.
Well, and I think it's just like we say with a girl's notch count, always, it's always, 3, 4, 5 times what they say. With this, it's similar. What she says is going to be longer than what she really wishes would happen.
Exactly.
So dial it back, whatever she
Very
says.
interesting. Yeah.
Because she's just trying not to scare you off tonight.
Tonight.
As you're having this conversation.
Yeah, and but just know, if she picks up a vibe that you're definitely not on board with this and like will never be,
yeah,
she's going to start shopping.
Yeah.
Consciously or unconsciously.
She's going to be shopping on your dime, too.
Consciously or unconsciously, she's going to start looking for the next guy that is better suited to be the material that she needs.
Yeah.
Because this shit's not negotiable.
No, it's not.
You want to see crazy women that have gotten married and then he decides he doesn't want kids.
Oh.
You get crazy.
Yeah, that's bad. But I mean, think of the crazy cat ladies. Think of the crazy aunt or whatever. I mean, this has been a running joke for generations. It's because it's because of exactly this kind of thing.
Bait and switch.
Yeah.
So that's the real deal with the panic proposal. But again, a lot of people have been happily married.
Yeah.
I mean, like this couple that we described. He is the happiest. Happiest guy. Loves that wife.
Oh, yeah.
And she loves him.
Crazy about him.
They do everything together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so it worked out.
They have a great life. But literally, they'd still be...
But he could have missed it.
Yeah.
I mean, if he had just, wandered off or, never asked or, he's a very intelligent man, which gives you an idea of like really smart guys can still miss this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I love it.
Anything to add?
I think that's...
Be aware of it, and you might have to have a couple uncomfortable conversations, but it'll save your ass down the road.
I think that's a big thing, is uncomfortable conversations actually work in your favor in this case.
Yeah. Oh, and so if you guys like this, Bunny's newsletter and my newsletter is down below.
Yeah.
I give you the best that I got, and how do yours...
And I give you mediocre. No,
I'm
just kidding.
But explain the difference between like what most of these guys like myself deliver in the game world and what you had to offer.
Well, I just think the primary difference is because I bring that 20% girl brain. So just like with this, like this is why girls think this way. This is why this works on girls. I kind of try and it's easy for guys. I mean, there are lots of very intelligent men in this circle who are giving very accurate information. I like to take it another step and pick up all of this as to why it's working.
Exactly.
Actually why it works from the female perspective.
And the more you know about how the girl's brain works, the better you can just get it.
Yeah.
And girls love men who just get it.
Because I think that I get a little bit of pushback from the female community because exposing the secrets of the sisterhood, so to speak. But the bottom line is everyone wins when you just get it.
Exactly. She wins, you win, everybody benefits.
Everybody benefits.
So again, newsletters are below. Just opt in. And if you like this, hit the thumbs up button, comment, let us know if you had to panic. It's not embarrassing. A lot of guys have been through it.
Right.
And subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, we love it.
Have a great day.
Bye.